George Washington and slavery. I'm sure you know about George Washington and Mount Vernon, but there is more to him than meets the eye. In George Washington's world, slavery was the social norm, and he grew up owning slaves. By the time he married Martha Custis, he owned around 35 slaves, and at the time of his death, 316 slaves lived on his estate. Washington began to resent slavery more as he grew older. Even so, he did not act upon his feelings, and his slaves were not treated much better than others. This is very similar to how another founding father, Thomas Jefferson, acted. They both felt that slavery was bad, but they both used slaves to make money for their plantations. In a letter to a friend, Washington expressed his thoughts on slavery. He said, "I can only say that there is not a man living who wishes more sincerely than I do to see a plan adopted for the abolition of slavery." He then went on to say that the only way to do this was through a legislative process. Mount Vernon slaves worked 6 days a week from dawn to dusk. The slaves who lived on the mansion grounds were quite well off for slaves, but those who lived on outlying farms were not. No slaves were given many luxuries, such as extra food or clothes. However, when George Washington died, all the old or sick slaves were provided for, and the children were taught to read and write and brought up learning a skill before they were freed at age 25. Many question why George Washington did not spearhead the fight against slavery. That's simple. It was because he knew that the fragile union of North and South could not withstand being pulled apart by the abolition of slavery. He knew that the fight for slavery could wait until the Union was stronger. That time came during the 1860s, or the Civil War. If it were not for George Washington's influential judgment, the United States would have been divided, North and South, forever. We would now be in the same hostile face-off that North and South Korea are in, and that East and West Germany were in during the Cold War. We would be the same country, but on different sides of the wall. The wall would be slavery.